Okay, it's time to crush your mortgage, people. We got a special guest on this morning, Lee Woodward, telling you about multi-generational families. Stay tuned.
Good morning.
How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen. Very good. Lee, thanks
morning,
for joining
everybody.
us.
Thanks for coming on, Lee.
My pleasure.
How you been?
Mate, very, very busy in this wonderful world of real estate.
What's your favourite thing you're doing in the last couple of months?
Last couple of months, I released the audio book for The Complete Salesperson. It's been on my mind for a long period of time, so it's gone out on Audible all around the world. So that was my big thing for the month.
Congratulations, Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Lee, you've done this. I've done this. Billy's doing this, and it's where generations are sticking together to crush their mortgage. So with interest rates going from 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6% now, people are starting to explore the options of putting a couple of generations into one house. Sharing is caring. Tell us, Billy, tell us a little bit about what you're doing towards that.
Well, we've just helped a client go through that, and I'm finding more than ever, and I'd be interested to get your two takes on this. It seems to be the demand or the appetite for a granny flat, second income, or a separate level where you can accommodate multi-generations is more than ever, I think, stronger than ever. It's, whichever angle you look at it, it's either somewhere to put family or it's a second income. And it seems to be quite a good addition to the home. I'm curious to know, are you finding people are, buying and selling these setups more than ever, Mark, or is this something that's always been like that?
I think it's always been like that, but what I'm getting a lot of people doing now is they're renting out the place where they're living and they're going to go live with friends, family, mum or dad.
Yep.
So I guess they're crushing that mortgage because they're going to get, like for a house, they're going to get $1,500 a week. They're going to get $6-7 grand a month. That's really going to help them towards what they're trying to do. Lee, tell us about your experience and your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, about 15 years ago when Robin and I brought our families together, that gave us 6 children, and they weren't children. The children were about to have children. So when we went out to buy a house, there was nothing out there that had that amount of bedrooms to move 10 people into a property. So we found a big old fogger on a great block of land near the water and did the full reconfigure of the house into 4 places, really. So it's like a quadruplex where everyone's got their own space, their own place. And for many, many years, that gave all the kids their start. It gave them an opportunity to buy a property that they could rent out for 1 year, 2 years, because you've got a better chance of getting a loan. And then they finally all moved into their own properties. And then just in the last 3 years, Rob's mum needed to go into care. So she came into the home. And again, we reconfigured the house into an apartment or a villa for her to stay there before she went into a retirement village. And now all the kids have left home. We've got all these bedrooms with no one in it. We've just reconfigured the house again. And we've actually sold our commercial property and put the business in the bottom part of the home. So I'm in a recording studio today, as you can see. This bedroom.
Let me make that a bigger photo. Look at that!
Wow.
Woo! So what was once a bedroom, I now broadcast from here and probably save $80,000 a year in rent of what we would need for a studio. So getting a big home and reconfiguring that property to one, house the kids, or even better, Mark, today 3-4 families can come together and say, let's have one loan, which means getting the loans a lot easier. Let's have one set of rates. And it's just a different way of living. But shared ownership, I think, is going to be a huge part of our future of real estate.
Are you spoiling yourself by doing that, or is it a sacrifice by doing that? What's the perception out there? So when you're sharing homes, so Europe, I think off air, Lee, you mentioned Europeans have been doing it forever.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was on the Northern Beaches, Westmoreland Avenue and down through there, all these big houses where when the home was first constructed in double brick, triple concrete, triple brick, we concreted, all the rooms were done in such a size that they were like studio apartments, but it was your bedroom. But it was always done that people would stay longer, they could return back to the property. Actually, my mum's in DY, and probably 20 years ago, even more, my mum and dad moved in for a house with a friend. They did a duplex upstairs, downstairs. My father passed away, and then they still had this duplex accommodation. But for my mum, that's just been a phenomenal shared ownership where now she's not in a house by herself. There's someone in the house. And there's just many great things about shared ownership.
It works. It works. Now, Billy, you're doing this in a way as well, I guess, because you've had your apartment and then you've gone back in with your brother and your oldies to save a bit of money, and then you got the apartment rented. How's that working for you?
It's actually been the difference of being able to hold on to the property at the moment. So I don't think I could have done what I've done without their help. It's been a great sort of backstop option to go back in with them just for a couple of years. But they don't have the Italian mindset. they think it's time to go again.
You're out. You're out, right?
Yeah. But all in all, it does work well, and I think if you've got the opportunity to buy anywhere, and then stay where you are for a year or two, it does let you find your feet, because it's such a big adjustment to begin with. Move into it for 6-12 months as your first home buyer to get grants, and then move back home if you can, because it will let you find your feet, and then you can actually get saving again. It takes a lot of stress out of the whole buying process.
Hey Lee, what's your opinion on how it should be structured financially and legally?
I think you just follow like the super fund laws. So in a self-managed super fund, you're allowed 4 members. And so if we all came together, the 4 of us, into a self-managed super fund, and Mark, you had more to put in than Billy had to put in, or I had to put in, there's just a percentage to that. So you might be 64% of the fund, I could be 30% of the fund, and Billy's on the remainder. And if it's sold, well, it just goes to that same percentage split, versus it doesn't matter who's what and where, but the percentage of it. And I really like that, because you could, you might have a 22-year-old son or daughter, and they think, I'll never buy a house because I'll get stamp duty and mortgage, I'll never be able to do it. Versus if we all buy a property and you own 11% of that property, well, in 5, 10, 15 years, when we come to sell, that they've had a mortgage, and the protection or the movement of everyone in there is that it was a combined shared ownership, shared mortgage, but based on percentage.
I remember when I was 18, I was trying to convince mum and dad to buy a house in Balmoral, which, if people don't know, it's a very expensive suburb. And I'm going, and they'd been in their property for 20, 25 years. I'm like, look, we sell the house, we buy this house, top level, you guys live in there. Middle level, you guys live in there. Top level, we rent out. 1 2-bedroom apartment on the ground floor, I'll rent there. But in the meantime, I'll live with you guys. We rent out both. I said, it'll pay the mortgage itself, and we'll get to live in Balmoral in a beautiful house. Now, if we had done that, that would have been probably today a 10 or 12, probably a 12 or $14 million property. So you can, I think there's the opportunity. I know there's the opportunity there for everyone to upgrade, everyone to improve their cash flow if they want to come together. What if there's a dispute though?
Yeah, you've got to have rules of relationship there, because you've got 2 sides to it. One, you may be living in the home as our family did, or you're not, and it's a rented property or part rented. So there's a lot of people that will, buy a bigger property and then rent those other areas out, or have other family members come into them. But you definitely need a if it all goes wrong, Day, what is the rules of relationship that kick in, and then it's just part of that deal or that part of that contract.
Yeah.
I like the part that if you're renting out your place, you can always and gonna go live with, so two families could do this. They could both be in their homes. They could both, each two families, say they get along really, really well, they go and rent this monster home because the bigger homes are often cheaper. So when I look at a house on the water in Bayview, waterfront, $2,500. I look for a basic home in Narrowena, $1,700 or $1,500, and I think it's only about a 20% shift to get a house that's worth triple the value. So I think there's actually good renting in premium price ranges. I think there's a good opportunity for two families to come together and do that. Now, also there's tax implications. You're going to get negative gearing on the house the family home that you're renting out. The debt is going to be deductible. So you are going to get to enjoy negative gearing. And what people forget is they think they have to pay tax on capital gains, but I check with your accountant, but I believe for 5 or 6 years after you moved out, you won't have to pay capital gains tax. There's some good tax advantages in doing this, as well as killing your interest rates and mortgages.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, what a great way to get started in real estate. It doesn't have to be permanent long term, but if you can, I know here, everyone lived here for a period of time, did that apartment purchase and then rented that out, then moved into it. It's a great transition into real estate.
Do you reckon you're going to get anyone back with interest rates back into your home?
Well, what a good backup plan. I know for the kids out there now, and everyone worries about if the interest rates go up again and if we can't pay our mortgage, and people can get a lot of anxiety and stress about that versus, well, rent that out and move back in. Like the backup plan is the big mothership, but as soon as you know you've got a backup plan, it doesn't make that look so bad, and that's where Billy's in the backup plan.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Yeah, I'm sleeping so cozy at the moment.
It's the mothership.
It's actually a better lifestyle than the mothership. You get fed, you get your laundry done. It's really good.
Well, that's another one. You're sharing all these costs. Food costs are being shared. Sometimes car costs. You can maybe able to get rid of one car. There's a lot of savings there. But guys and girls, I think the point of today is have a serious think about it. Getting bigger homes, renting a bigger home and getting a couple of families in there or a couple of generations in there, or getting together into one home and renting your place out. There are options out there, and I know interest rates are high. I know it's hurting people out there. We just wanted to go through and explore these fun options where you're spending more time with people you love, saving some money.
It's a good plan.
Jonathan Craig.
The new Australian dream.
It's do you know what the Australian dream is? Not paying any rents on board the mothership. I am living the dream. I tell them I'm saving hard.
Well, that's do you charge your kids rent? Do you not? Do you have to? It's interesting. Would you, if your kids moved in, Lee, would you hit them for rent?
Yep, for sure. It's part of life.
Yes.
We've got to pay their way.
But you'd give them a bit of it. You give them a bit of a discount.
Yeah, there's no bond. There you go. There's no bond. And a good reference, no matter what happens.
That's it. Well, look, hopefully we've helped people today. Lee, thanks so much for coming on the show. Billy, thanks for sharing what you're doing. Anything you guys want to go out on in conclusion of what we spoke about?
With today's program, someone may have woken up this morning thinking, you know what, I'll never own a home because of getting a deposit together and stamp duty. And then suddenly, what if you had a different plan and that got you into real estate? And, putting this together is not that difficult. You just need the right partners involved. That could be family, or that could be friends or colleagues of yours, and you could get into real estate now.
Love it. Love it. Pay the rent, Billy. And Billy, what are you going to say before we go?
No, I do love the idea. I've seen it done very recently. We've just helped a client make this move, and they are having a ball of a time. Mum and Dad were living upstairs, family downstairs, and obviously they're all able to help each other out. It just looked like a big happy family. And then when things did get a bit stressful, they just closed the door, and they got their own houses. Yeah.
I reckon if they bring grandkids with you, you don't charge them rent.
And there is one other bonus. There's one other bonus, Mark. If you're doing this with the grandparents, and the grandparents love having the grandkids, you got people that got to go to work, but got no drop-offs, no pickups.
Oh.
You wake up in the morning, you just go, no one down and pops upstairs. That's a game changer.
Yep. That's bloody awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today. And this mortgage killer session, I reckon, has got some serious legs. There's a lot of avenues we spoke about for people there that they can pursue, and I really think it can help people a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Love ya. See ya. Bye.